And then when we come back out here, is he going to participate again, or is he?
We'll call him back again.
No, Friday it came on, and
Okay.
Sunday, most of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's like the,
Usually on Fridays, but they wouldn't allow me up there this year.
Where do you, you're gonna sit up there and
Little short, so.
I'm just doing it for the first part to get Troy off the phone, and then I'm going back up there.
and then are you sitting up there? Do I have to sit at the table? It'll be the right people sitting up there.
I'm functioning a lot. That's what
I'm embarrassed right now.
all day except Friday. I woke up for the rest of it.
It's the least you can do.
Slept till 3 o'clock. Got dressed so I could wear a condo. Slept till 1 o'clock the next day.
I did fine last time. You can sit down here.
Just, I don't know. It's cold. Special meeting of March 2nd. Roll call, please.
For the record, we have Mayor Pro Tem Edgar calling in from Texas. Roll call, we have Councilmember Gross,
Here.
Councilmember Hasselbrink,
Here.
Councilmember Kusamoto,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar,
Here.
Mayor Murphy.
Here. Okay, we're gonna change the order around a little and go to closed session first. Carrie, open for public comment, if anybody would like to comment. Seeing none, one bluff. Seeing none.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, the purpose of the closed session is conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation pursuant to subdivision D4 of section 54956.9, one potential case of anticipated litigation.
Thank you.
Hey Troy, we're going to hang up with you now and we'll call you from the conference room.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
First,
Oh, report out?
yes. Council did meet in closed session to discuss the item that I mentioned prior to going into the closed session. No formal votes were requested or taken. Council instructed city attorney as to how to proceed and scheduled a further closed session for the 20th of March at 3:00 PM. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go to special orders of the day, Recreation and Community Service Department budget overview. Right, you want to take that?
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. This item is being brought forward as part of the budget process. Also, it had been previously requested by the mayor, and the council had concurred that we were going to be doing budget meetings for and kind of department overviews for Recreation Community Services, and we'll have another one coming up with the Community Development Public Works, and then finally the Police Department as we go through. So we'll have 3 separate workshops for those departments with the kickoff tonight with Recreation and Community Services, and we have a PowerPoint to go through for you that was distributed in advance to the council, and we'll take any questions as we go along, and Corey Lakin, the Director of Recreation and Community Services, will begin the presentation now.
Mayor and members of the City Council, thank you very much for the opportunity to address you today about the Recreation and Community Services Department. And I'm going to start the presentation a little bit just giving you some background and overview about the department, some of the facilities, programs, activities that we do, give you some insight into the staff, and then I'm going to dive into it in the second half or 3/4 of the end, specifics into the budget, broken up by division. The Recreation and Community Services Department, we and the rest of the state believe that parks make life better. It's a motto that the California Park and Recreation Society did significant outreach to throughout the state and came up with a terrific motto that we here in Los Alamitos embrace wholeheartedly. Our organizational structure is set up with 5 full-time staff, 5 part-time community services coordinator, and between 30 and 60 part-time recreation leader and water safety instructor lifeguards. Our organizational structure is set here with a director that oversees several different programs and disseminates lots of the work to 2 full-time recreation managers. The 3 of us are the full-time programmers. We have 2 secretaries and, like I said, 5 community services coordinators. We have a receptionist and several hourly recreation and aquatics staff. There are several facilities that the city, that the department programs at. These are both programmable parks as well as non-programmable or passive parks, and lots of pocket parks as well. All the facilities that the department programs as well as parks that the city owns. The community center, a little over 11,000 square feet of activity rooms, kitchen facilities, built in 1976, houses the department offices, and is home to the city's programs and facility rentals. Several banquets, receptions, and meetings take place there. More than 6,100 people attend these events with approximately 80 rentals per year. The youth center, which is right next door to the community center and helps make up the complex, the community center complex, another 3,300 square feet of joint use. The city owns the facility. It was also completed in 1979. It's home to the Los Alamitos Youth Center, a private nonprofit organization. And in the mornings is home to our senior lunch and bread program, where more than 4,800 meals are served to mostly Los Alamitos residents per year. There are some part-time recreational leader hours that are utilized for this program to help coordinate the several volunteers that are there, and it is reimbursed through the BREAD program. Little Cottonwood Park is the city's largest city-owned open space. It has field space, place for t-ball, basketball, sand volleyball courts, playgrounds, a jogging path, barbecues, restrooms, shelters that are rented out, about 160 rentals with 6,700 people annually. And most recently in 2010, the 50th anniversary courtyard was built here. It's one of the two sites for our summer park program, about 1,800 plus participants for the 10 to 11 week program. It is a free drop-in program that operates only during the summertime, and I'll get more into that later on in the budget portion. Laurel Park was renovated in 2012, has lighted tennis courts, and is home to our music and movie event series, 3 out of the 4 of them, the 4th being at the pool. Orville Lewis Park, located in the Highlands, has a playground. Basketball court was renovated recently. Has a baseball backstop, picnic shelter and barbecue. This is the second site for our summer park program, and it has a little bit more than 850 participants per year. Some of the other parks that are not programmed but wanted to bring to your attention: Coyote Creek Park, a little over 3.5 acres, and then Labradette, Roberts, Seroptimus, Stansbury, and Stearns Park are what we refer to as pocket parks. Basically, they're one parcel of land for the community to be able to have some green space and usually a playground for the kids to be able to play. The joint use facilities that were recently approved by the City Council and the school board, the contracts were recently approved for Oak Middle School fields, basketball courts, restrooms, and the bike and walk path, as well as the McAuliffe Middle School fields and the master joint use agreement. And the Oak Middle School gymnasium, that contract was put together in 1974 and still remains in perpetuity. The USA Water Polo National Training Center, the MOU, is a 20-year lease agreement originally between USA Water Polo and the military. The city came in 1998, and that contract expires February 29th of next year. We're currently working with the base to negotiate a new lease agreement, and further discussion will be at the Monday, March 23rd special meeting of the City Council. It's a 50-meter pool. It's open year-round, approximately 12 hours a day, sometimes longer than that. It's utilized by 200 to 250,000 people every single year. It's home to 7 user groups, including the USA Women's National Olympic Water Polo Team. There's a full complement of learn-to-swim lessons that are available year-round: lap swimming, recreational swimming from March through September, and several classes, including water aerobics, water safety classes, and a junior lifeguard program take place there. I'm going to get here into some of the department divisions. As you can tell, we don't like to have any fun in our department. This is Halloween this year. We were Brett's minions, so we like to have fun, and it took place on Senior Day, so they always love having us dress up there. So our administration is made up of 5 full-time staff, 1 part-time receptionist, and all the benefits. It's about $588,000. Our maintenance and operation budget is about $88,000, and that includes supplies, training, our quarterly activities guide that we produce. We print about 11,250 of them quarterly and mail out approximately 9,000 to all Los Alamitos and Rossmore residents and businesses. It pays for our IT internal service fund, as well as the CSI, the new registration software that was just purchased last year. Any equipment that we have, and the music and movie event series is in this division. Our revenue is approximately $7,000, made up of activities guide, promotions, as well as music and movies, sponsorship, and vendors. Our aquatics division is made up of several user groups. These are a list of all the 7 user groups that utilize it. Our lap and recreational swim program sees about 9,500 participants per year. We have a master's swimming program that sees about 35 to 40 participants quarterly. And our aquatics classes include water aerobics, swim instruction classes, and junior lifeguards. We offer just under 2,000 swimming lessons a year to teach kids and adults how to become water safe. And we have several pool rentals throughout the year, from international competitions to local high school groups. Personnel is about $163,000, made up of a community services coordinator that oversees the aquatics program, approximately 30 water safety instructor lifeguards, 1 part-time maintenance worker. Our maintenance and operations about $175,000 a year. As you can see, the majority of that is our utilities, about $134,000 a year. We do our best to cover the pool at night and work with our heaters and our companies that maintain all of our equipment. We do what we can to conserve on electricity, but obviously the pool pump has to run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and so do the heaters to maintain that, to maintain the heat in the pool. The revenue is pretty much offsets the direct expenditures at about $354,000. The majority there is from pool rentals from our consistent user groups, as well as the swimming lessons. Community services is another division. This is the mayor's favorite picture, I know. Our senior programs made up of our senior lunch and bread program, again about 4,800 meals served a year, and our Los Alamitos Senior Club, about 120 active members, 70 of which are residents. The Senior Club offers excursions throughout the year. This year we offered 2 senior dances. There are several classes that are free for the seniors offered through the North Orange County Community College District. We offer, staff works really hard to find free presentations and screenings for the seniors throughout the year. They meet every Thursday, and if you ever come by, they're always in a good mood. The community center rentals, we see approximately 80 per year that see about 6,100 attendees. We do have some consistent groups, church groups that rent it out often, but if you come by, you can see weddings take place there, dances that take place, and meetings. Personnel is about $63,000, 2 community services coordinators, and several hours of part-time recreation leaders for the seniors, for the activities guide, and for community center rentals. Maintenance and operations is relatively low at about $6,500, and our revenue is about $28,000 for the community center rentals annually. Our day camp program, it's a highly supervised program. We offer 1 staff for every 10 kids. There's consistent programming from 7 a.m. until 6 p.m. for the extended, and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. for the regular. Every year it's themed. Not only is the summer themed, but every single week is themed to keep the kids' interest. They theme it typically around the different excursions that they go to. Here's a photo of them going to the Long Beach Aquarium. The summer camp the summer camp sees 40 to 60 kids a week, lasts 10 to 11 weeks depending on the length of summertime. We offer daily and weekly fees, weekly excursion fees separately in order to try and ensure that all participants can participate and parents can pick and choose what they want to be a part of. Yes, sir.
I've got a question on that.
Mm-hmm.
The competition in the community between the school district, which offers programs, and the youth center that offers programs. We're looking at summer camp of 40 to 60 kids per week. I think most of these, if I remember, are pretty much offset costs, but that seems like a low number in comparison, and I don't know how it relates to others. Have we done any studies that give us a feel, 20 to 40 kids in the winter and spring camp, 40 to 60 in the summer? I don't know what our kid population is, you know, through the city, and how many of these are locals versus out of town. Seems like the revenue more than offsets operation and expenses, but That just seems like a low number to me. I would think it would be much higher.
Like you said, there is a lot of competition. The school in the summertime runs summer school. They run different enrichment programs. We run several camps during the summertime. What this does is it provides the parents a lot of different opportunities. A lot of parents will have their kid go to Lego camp for a week. Then they'll have them go to junior crew camp for a week, and then they'll come to our day camp for a week. So they may do themed camps that we offer through our contract classes. So we compete with ourselves as well. But the 40 to 60 number is relatively consistent. We did see a drop a few years ago, but we've built back since then. The youth center, I know their numbers are a little bit bigger, but in our talks with them, they provide scholarships for all, like full scholarships for nearly half of their participants, of which we offer a scholarship program, but typically it only goes up to 50%. It's only for like 1 week during the entire summer. So we think it's pretty consistent. We'll see a lot of participants come from the youth center program or come from the school district, and vice versa. They'll come to us for a couple weeks, and then they'll go to those camps for a few weeks. Just offers them a lot of different variety. It is a lot for this community, but if you look collectively at it, I think it provides the community a lot of diversity, which provides them a lot of opportunities to pick and choose. And like you said, if we go to the next slide, our revenue does make up for our expenses, and we do make sure that we spend a lot of time with that. The benefit of our program versus other programs is we have a dedicated facility, and we do offer a very, very low staff to participant ratio. The 10-to-1 ratio is a pretty good ratio compared to the competition and others. And we get a lot of very good feedback from our parents, and a lot of returning parents will have kids, 6 or 7 kids from one family coming back, and we pride ourselves in that because that means we're doing a good job.
Age group?
5 to, including our CIT program, our counselor and training program, I think it goes up to 15 or 16.
Thank you.
So as you can see here, our personnel is about 31,000, mostly and all in part-time recreation, leader hours, supplies and excursions. Most of that goes to the excursions, buses and excursions, but again, that's all paid for separately in the revenue. And the day camp brings in about $88,000. Our playgrounds division, this is basically our park program. So again, this is a free program, a free drop-in program at Little Cottonwood and Orville Lewis Parks. We see anywhere between 10 and 75 kids a day. It's about 85% Los Alamitos residents. The other 15% typically no Los Alamitos residents or their relatives of residents who come to their house for the day, and they come and hang out at the park program. The drop-in program allows the kids to come and go. Their parents sign a waiver to allow them to kind of release on their own recognizance, and a lot of them will bike to and from. And a couple years ago, we started offering it at 6 hours a day, 2 staff per site. We offer games, activities, arts and crafts, and there's 6 free excursions during the summertime. And 1 bus will take as many kids as it can fit. And then we have Fun Day Fridays, used to be Water Day Fridays, and with the drought, we eliminated that and make it Fun Day Fridays, and have different types of activities and special guests and things like that in the summertime. Personnel costs are about $16,500, and our maintenance budget is $7,000. And again, that's all for staffing, and then mostly for the excursions and a few supplies. Our sports program, we have about 200 teams enrolled in our adult sports program. We offer a wide variety of soccer, basketball, and softball. Futsal, for those of you that don't know, is indoor soccer. And then our youth sports program, we see about a little over 300 players, about 60% residents. For youth, we offer basketball and volleyball, and then we offer Pee Wee and Junior Pee Wee, and in most recent years, we started offering a Parent and Me program. Again, talk about the relevancy. We're trying to stay relevant. There's a lot of competition with the youth sports, so we try and be a feeder program into them and not compete directly with them. So we're working with kids as young as 2.5, 3 years old to prepare them for the AYSOs and the Friday Night Lights and other sports activities. So rather than competing, we're trying to enhance those programs. Our sports program, the personnel is about $85,000, part-time coordinator, as well as part-time recreation leader hours. About $63,000 in supplies, technology, maintenance, and then supplies specific for each sport, and then field fees and light fees. And then a revenue is about $195,000, $196,000 broken down here, as you can see. So about $90,000 in field prep, gym rentals, and light fees, and $81,000 in adult sports and $25,000 in youth sports. Our special classes is where all of our contract classes take place. We offer about 800 contract classes a year. We have over 50 contracted instructors, and we see about 4,200 participants. About 45% is residents, which we think is a pretty good number considering the population size. We do share a lot of our contract classes with Cypress. We co-sponsor classes with Cypress, Seal Beach, Buena Park, Long Beach, in order to make sure that the classes go and we cancel less classes because of that. We offer a very wide variety. Our activities guide is quite large for a city of our size. We offer a very wide array, as you can see here, of both classes and camps. We have our Ready, Set, Go preschool. We run our own preschool program. Has 16 kids on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 21 Monday, Wednesday, Friday, which is sold out with kids on the wait list. And the Los Alamitos Volunteer Program, we have more than 70 members. More than half of them are residents, and they contribute more than 1,600 hours in service credits each year. And if you were at the Race on the Base, I'm sure you saw several of them out there, because that's one of the mandated days that they participate. Our personnel for special classes is about $48,000 for our preschool coordinator and several part-time recreation leader hours. About $101,000 in maintenance and operations, the majority of which is payments to our contracted instructors. We negotiate with each instructor or each company individually. We offer a different structure for each of them, where we take a percentage we receive 100% of we take their registration fees and then we pay them a percentage. It ranges anywhere between 60 and 80%, depending on whether we host it on site, whether it's hosted at their facility, and depending on what contracts they have with surrounding agencies that we may co-sponsor with. But we always retain a percentage of our revenues are about $212,000 in contract classes, about $131,000, tennis lessons, $22,000, and our preschool program, just over $59,000. Our special events, we offer several different special events, from what we consider our small special events, from the Trunk or Treat, and Winter Wonderland used to be small, but it's getting much bigger. Our music and movies, and our spring carnival, and then our large events, or Race on the Base, with about 8,000 participants, and the 4th of July with approximately 20 or 25,000. Just a little bit more information about our big events. The 4th of July Fireworks Spectacular is co-sponsored by Los Alamitos, Cypress, Seal Beach, Rossmore, and the Joint Forces Training Base. It is co-produced by Los Alamitos and Cypress staff. The revenue and direct expenditures are offset about $55,000 to $60,000 annually, and again, 20 to 25,000 people attend annually. This is a photo from last year's 4th of July. As you can see, out on the airfield provides a lot of participants to be able to just kind of spread out and be able to see the stage that's on the right and the fireworks that take place just behind that. Race on the Base, it's the largest special event for the city. It is a regional draw. Now it's an international draw. The winner of our reverse triathlon was from France this year. It is the largest reverse triathlon in the country. And I apologize for the out-of-date slide. 2015 was our largest race on the base now, and it's 34-year history with 4,444 participants. We do have all 8 events, and I don't know, about 3 hours ago, we sent out our evaluation, and within the first hour, received just under 400 responses, of which more than 90% very much enjoyed our event. Our personnel budget's about $16,500, all in part-time recreation leader hours. Our maintenance and operation is quite large at $240,000. Almost $191,000 of that is race on the base, but our revenue is also large at $375,000. Again, the majority of which is the race on the base at $300,000. Our revenues for our department, the large amounts are here. There's about $20,000 to $25,000 that's not here. That's the way our revenues and expenditures are. Our expenditures are broken up into different divisions, and our revenues are not broken up that way. But we tried to associate them with this. So there's about $20,000 or $22,000 that's not accounted for in the large amounts here on the left side. Again, aquatics about $355,000, community services at 28, day camps at $88,000, sports $196,000, special events at $212, and our special classes at $212, and special events at $375,000, totaling just under $1.3 million in revenues. Just food for thought, our cash sponsorships for 2014 was the highest we've ever raised. And our race on the base was just over $87,000, and Winter Wonderland at $12,750. Spring Carnival $3,000, aquatics $4,500, youth sports $4,000, and our 4th of July at $30,000 in sponsorships, totaling $141,750,000.
We go back to the special event. Is that race on the base? The revenue was $300,220. The maintenance operations expense, I guess, was $190. That's where we wind up with about $100,000 net.
Correct.
Okay.
There's a little bit in personnel from our department, some personnel from police, and some personnel from Public Works. That's not part of the maintenance and operations. That's in the individual department budgets. But yeah, our revenues over direct expenditures typically is in the $90,000 to $100,000 range.
Okay, thank you.
So going back, our cash sponsorships, in the last several years, we've worked really hard on this to try and boost that up as much as possible to help raise revenue and be allowed to do a little bit more with our events. So this is the highest total in the last, I want to say 5 years. It's ranged between $110,000 and $125,000. So we're very proud of this. And in fact, Ron Emmelin and I are going to be meeting with a local business owner tomorrow afternoon again to discuss sponsorship opportunities. They like what they've seen that we've done with other businesses, and they email me and requested a meeting, so we're meeting with them tomorrow. So hopefully this number will increase before the end of the fiscal year.
That's a new sponsor?
Correct. So just a little bit of a comparison, dating back to the fiscal year 2008-9 actuals, where we had a budget of a little over $1.8 million and revenue commitment of just over $1 million, compared to where we're projecting to be at year end at 1.7 for expenditures and almost 1.3 for revenue. The difference, our expenditure budget is decreased by about $121,000, and our revenue commitment is increased by $232,000. Allowing our department to go self-sustaining from 56.8% to almost 75% self-sustaining.
Is there a reason you chose a 6-year span like that?
The 2008-9 was the first year that Ron, Emmelin, and I had a hand in the budget. We were hired in November of 2007, and so the 8-9 budget, we really had a hand in. So it was more of a benchmark for ourselves, so we can kind of see where we've come from. Some of the future needs and challenges that we see is staffing consistency. With a heavy load put on our part-time community services coordinator, it's always our goal to try and keep them here as much as possible. Again, I've been here about 7.5 years, and I've had 6 aquatics coordinators work for me in that time, having been here for as little as 6 months to as much as a year and a half, almost 2 years. It's a challenge for us to have those key personnel turnover constantly. So what we're positioning this year with a retirement coming up in June, we're proposing to eliminate a full-time secretary position, a part-time community services coordinator position, and a part-time recreation specialist position. And with that, and some other savings, create 2 full-time recreation coordinator positions. Again, hopefully being able to retain these full-time positions for a little bit longer, and not quite having the turnover that we do, and having to start over with new staff in those key positions. Some of the other challenges that we see is minimum wage is going to be increasing as of January 1st. That's a big impact to our department since we have so many part-time staff. And the sustainability of sponsorship, again, $142,000 in sponsorships this year. There's tremendous competition with the amount of nonprofits that are out there asking the same businesses and organizations for money. We feel like we've positioned ourselves really well. The fact that businesses are contacting us, seeking opportunities to market with us. Again, we do spend a significant amount of our time focused in this area. We believe that it's paid off, but again, it's a challenge, and it's a competition all the time to go after the same sponsorship dollars that a lot of the other nonprofits are going after as well. We always want to maintain and modernize our facilities to keep up with the competition around us. We would love to see a programs and facility needs assessment in the near future to make sure what we're providing for is what the residents are looking for, and that our facilities meet their needs. And a department-wide fee study to make sure that we're in line, and I know Jason's looking into that right now, citywide, to hope that we're making sure that we're in line with everybody else and with the competition. Our department, again, like the brick says, that's in the 50th anniversary courtyard, and like we like to say, we truly believe that parks make life better in Los Alamitos. And with that, I'll turn it over to the council and answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? Shelley?
Yes.
Okay,
You wanna
jump
try
in.
Troy?
Troy?
Yeah. So I had an opportunity earlier today to meet with Corey and Shelley, have them to go through some of the questions that I have. Probably the most pressing, Dean, was something that you had brought up regarding the rates on the base generating excess revenue, and I know he talked a little bit about that, and we were applying that excess revenue to refurbish the pool. Sometime, one of the answers that's provided is sometime over the last couple of years, we got rid of the pool fund that was set aside to administer that policy decision, and just put the money, excess money that was generated from rates on the base, into the general fund, under the rationalization that we use that general fund to offset the difference in the cost of revenue versus expenditure. So I guess one of the questions that I had was, are we? I honestly, I don't remember changing our policy direction, and if we did, are we compliant with our current policy?
Councilmember Edgar, I spoke with the city clerk, and we did look up in the minutes from 2010 the
Get that answer?
He didn't like the answer. Wasn't impressed.
You know what, it's gonna run right back. Or is it just all
There
the
went the
time?
battery. Just hit redial. Is there a redial button?
Or is it just all the time?
Which one we got from this?
This is scary that you have his name memorized.
He's been on the council the longest.
Ah.
Hello, this is Troy Edgar. Please leave your name and number.
That's what I
He
usually
doesn't
do.
know he disconnected.
All right, Dean, you want to go?
disconnected.
Any comments?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since we're working on budget, looking toward next year, some years back, we eliminated some programs. One of them was the city beautification program, which was, I don't know if that was run specifically by Parks and Recreation, but it may be something conjunction with community development.
Sorry about that. Corey, go ahead. I'm sorry. You were saying that you were responding to the question. I didn't hear the answer.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Troy, Dean was asking a question, but we'll go back to where Corey was responding to yours and then go back to Dean's question.
So in the minutes of May 3rd, 2010, the motion was to move forward with the policy that in the future and for this year's race, any excess surplus funds that were generated from the race on the base be directly deposited into the JFTB pool fund. And for this year specifically, cover the shortfall of the JFTB pool fund and ask Community Services to move forward with the purchase of the new heater. Then in 2011, at mid-year, the pool fund was moved into the general fund, and the pool CIP reserve was created for the general fund to collect the pool capital improvement money from the organizations, but there was no discussion of reallocating the race on the base funds into that capital improvement fund. So it wasn't clarified, so that's why it hasn't been done. To my knowledge, my understanding, that's why it hasn't been done since, and that was my discussion with the city clerk, that because the pool fund was eliminated and the pool fund was, all the monies were moved into the general fund, and it wasn't clarified that the CIP would now house any excess revenues. And again, just keep in mind that the excess revenues are, again, direct expenditures. We don't include any overhead for full-time staff working on the event year-round.
Okay, so from that time until today, how much, positive revenue had been received over and above the direct expenditures, not the indirect of staff, since that time period?
Probably about $90,000 to $100,000 a year.
Okay, and then within the CIP projects for the pool, we don't, from that point forward, we really haven't recognized a funding of that money. So at this point, we really don't, we haven't really kind of went through and maintained that. So I guess policy-wise, if that truly is still a policy, and I guess I'm unclear by the answer, if we unravel that as another budget decision, or whether the policy is still in place that excess funds from that event are supposed to go towards capital improvement plan. Where would you weigh off right now that we've kind of indirectly canceled that policy?
That's my understanding of it.
Okay, and then just as a part of the process to solidify policy issues like this, Brett, this question's for you specifically. Would I guess so that something like this doesn't unravel indirectly, do we have a process, when we make a decision like this that, hey, we're going to use an event to fund the CIP. I thought we had put a more formal process in place to capture those types of policy decisions. Because I kind of agree with Corey. I think we probably did walk away from it. I just don't think we directly understood we did.
Yeah, Mayor Pro Tem Edgar, I think the policy discussion, if it was going to take place, again, be appropriate probably to go back to the budget ad hoc committee, discuss during the CIP process, and possibly bring that back to the city council. As Corey said, it sounds like it was just kind of dropped at that time, but in terms of policy discussion could include whether the revenues should cover just the direct costs or the direct and the indirect costs, and whether the indirect costs should be allocated specifically back to the event. So I would think it would be a budget ad hoc. We didn't discuss it over this past year. The past year we talked about fund balance reserve policy for the general fund and internal service funds, and for establishing those funds so that we're setting up for capital replacement over the future. But we didn't go back to this policy discussion specifically for the pool last year.
Okay, and I agree with that. Would it be a fair characterization that when we have a budget surplus at the end of last year and this year, that we possibly can attribute some of that budget surplus to the upside of us contributing net profit into the general fund, kind of unlabeled, and it actually fills up, or is it measured so that we know specifically that we didn't consume that, we got it in, it was kind of unlabeled as general fund money, but we spent it directly for Parks and Recreation, where I think Corey was saying, or is this kind of somewhat indirectly attributable to our reserve surplus or our general fund surplus?
Well, our surplus that we're talking about, like for 13-14, it's 1 year at a time, but would it be appropriate to discuss depositing a portion of the surplus into things like, we talked about the PERS reserve, we talked about the internal service funds and the replenishment of those. Last year the council did set up one reserve which is capital related and parks related at $400,000. That, yeah, definitely would be appropriate to discuss in any 1 year when we have a surplus, likely at the mid-year or budget kickoff time, whether or not as a policy the council wants to deposit into these different funds. That would be appropriate, yes.
Okay, so I'll move on to that one, and I'm supportive of putting in the ad hoc and developing a draft policy. Second question I had that I shared this morning or earlier today was basically the pool lease. I think that it would be really important to get a timeline of the CIP decisions that have to be made coming up here before now in June, looking at the lease, which is next February, and evaluating really what is our strategy to make sure that we know that putting money into the pool is a business case that makes sense. Specifically, we have to put money into the pool right now just to maintain. Well, I think, Corey, you said earlier in my notes I'm looking through here, you said that you don't think we'll have to put in any more money this year. Did you verify that?
I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I mean, ultimately, the pump runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so do the heaters. So lots of moving parts, lots of maintenance that goes into it. So ultimately, I think that side of things we can maintain. The big stuff is the repainting of the pool and fixing the pool lights and things of that nature. Like I've said before, I will continue to keep my fingers crossed and hope that we won't need to do those things. Again, the pool is still safe for all participants. Otherwise we would definitely not run it. But my thoughts are that we can make it through another year. We've made it thus far, and we could probably make it another year. Hopefully we wouldn't have to if we can get a lease agreement prior to then. But ultimately, that'll be based on the discussions and negotiations with the base.
Okay, and we talked about the Olympics being, the team goes off in July of 2016, 4 or 5 months after this lease expires. So the short-term extension of the lease, which I believe is an option, And then the longer-term negotiation for the hopefully next 10 years, in the context of budget, without getting too far off track, you know, at some point I think that the council needs to think through what is going to be our involvement from a policy side and a legislative side on trying to get the base on board with a decision, because it seems like we're running out of time. This is a similar discussion we had last year at this time on the lease. I know you're going to update us on the 20th, but I guess I'm very concerned, and at some point if we have to mobilize the cities around the base, the water polo team, and start taking, you know, trips to the base and eventually trips to Sacramento to the federal side to make sure to help. I mean, it seems like we're still about $200,000 apart if you account for the potential fees they want to charge. And I'm still unclear if we have a strategy, and if we need to mobilize, we probably need to start adding things to the agenda to talk about this so that we don't start too late.
Yeah, we're going to review that on March 23rd. The base has provided us with a preliminary proposal. We're trying to get them to confirm that proposal, and we'll bring that forward to the City Council with all the details. We'll probably go over that discussion and hopefully strategy at that time.
Okay, so in that staff report, you'll put a timeline very explicitly showing all of the dependencies that we need to worry about, so that we can very clearly see what types of actions both council and staff need to take between now and then.
Yeah.
Okay. Mayor, that's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Dean?
Okay, let me go back to where we tried to go when Troy dropped off. We eliminated some programs, one of which was the Community Pride, I think is what it was called, recognizing people that had improved their houses. There was an awards thing, and I know when budget got tight, that was one of the things that we eliminated. I'd like to look and see how that could be revitalized, because it also can impact the businesses. And I know we've got a couple of areas that are investing a lot of money in upgrading their property to make it more customer-friendly and more related to the city. So I'd like to figure out a way that if we were to do that in the spring of next year, I think most of these, because the community concerts was one of the ones, we found a way to bring that back. Holiday decor was another one, and we brought that back partially. I'd like to see some thought in regards to the banner program. We have the banners that are deteriorating as we get wind and rains like we had today, to where they're just disappearing. I noticed for Race in the Base, there were a lot of them missing completely. There was still an upward stanchion, but the lower connector was gone, and so was the flag. I believe we heard that the gal that put that in had indicated she's no longer going to be able to do that. There's a program that Cypress has where they have themed banners that they rotate on a regular basis. There's been some talk about our holiday decorations don't look as festive necessarily, and I know there's a lot of costs involved in those, and I'm not suggesting that we try to build programs in that we can't justify, but are there creative ways we could potentially do that? I'd love to see the chamber take ownership of the Community Pride type program and participate in some particular fashion with that. And that's not been discussed with them, but again, I think there's something there that we can look at as we're moving down. The pool maintenance thing that Troy highlighted on is another issue. We're dealing with a facility that's 71 years old and probably has reached its lifespan, or if it's not, it will in the not-too-distant future. And continuing to paint and plaster or whatever we're doing to it to keep it functioning, I would be concerned about a long-term lease with the base in that respect, and I would love to see us try and combine that in some particular way with the potential of city facilities being over there on the property. And whether it's in that specific location or if it's in a different location, my understanding from discussions with you that the base uses it about 20% of the time, and so they've got a stake in this as well. And I know in my discussions with the Adjutant General, he's very supportive of the pool and wants to see it continued, but his caveat is he wants to see the Olympics remain a tenant and a participant, and I know part of their issues is just the deteriorating infrastructure in the process, and that they're looking at some other ways. Regarding the pool funding thing, one of the things when we came through this last year that I had talked to Councilman Egger about was that, you know, the change was made. There was apparently a policy decision during the period where I wasn't on council. We came real close this year to not having race on the base for conditions beyond our control. Looking at the fact that that has a potential net hit of about $100,000 a year in general fund revenue, I think we need to take a look at that in a little bit different type of approach, because if we get that kind of a hit, I'm hoping we've worked it out now and moving forward into the future, but if we were to take that kind of a hit, that would have significant impact on just general operations from the standpoint of the city. And I'm supportive of a little bit of what Troy talked about in terms of creating a percentage of that net. I think you had last year, well, using the 2008 to 2015 revenues on budget expenditure, you're actually $120,000 less than you were 6 years ago. Revenue-wise, you're $231,000 more. And so I think part of that we need to be able to recognize as a result of this department's function. And if we are looking at that $231,000, then some of these potential programs, particularly maintenance on the pool at this point, could be built into there rather than just simply general fund money, paying for other things that we're not doing. Considering the fact that, as I said, we may lose this, depending upon how the future works and whether or not they do multi-years with us or not. Those are the only things that I'm looking at it in terms of potential things from the standpoint of the budget. And I'm not saying they need to be in there when it comes back. I'm just throwing them out as some ideas. I don't know what we have planned or what you have planned relative to holiday decorations and how that corresponds to the Winter Wonderland program and just the decorations from the standpoint of the poles. We don't hit every pole. We do other poles. We tried the electric and it didn't work. There are things with solar that are operating other issues from the standpoint, and something like that had solar that could light up some LEDs or something in the process might be an approach. I think if we go with the commercial route through Decalight or some of the others that are out there that do that, we're going to be looking at a costly number, and I don't know how you offset it. When we ultimately reach a decision that the patriotic banners have got to come down because they've just exceeded their lifetime, we'll have nothing left to put up at this particular point. And do you want us to move forward with that, or is there some other type of program? So I'll let your staff kind of do the thinking on that.
I can comment, if you don't mind. I spoke with Nancy from Banners of Honor actually on Thursday last week, and she said there's lots of things going on with her personally, but she now has indicated that she would like to renew the program. So I don't have a timeline. It was a brief conversation. She was headed out of town again, but her heart is in it, so she would like to continue the program. I told her I'd like to meet with her and chat a little bit more because I'd like to see it sooner than later. I agree that, some of the banners have come down with the wind. The first run was a different type of material than the second run because, you kind of learn and grow and that sort of thing. So hopefully that will continue. As far as the holiday decorations, the first year I think it was $24,000 for the lighted decorations that were less than successful. The banners were already created, so that's the nice thing is the banners that we still have. There's 44 of them. We can always purchase more, but it's a big upfront expense to put them up every year. I think right now is about $3,600 for the 44 banners. That is included in next year's budget. But if we wanted to purchase more, again, they have to be created and developed. We have to buy the hardware and that sort of thing for the first year, and then the company, you pay an ongoing fee for them to house the equipment and put them up and take them down.
So let me throw out an out-of-the-box thought. Seal Beach does it. Cypress does it. So if Cypress contracts with Company A and Seal Beach contracts with Company B, they contract to put in X amount, but there's a certain fee that's associated with it. If we added 44 more poles or 100 more poles through the same companies, is there a potential for some cost savings because they're out here doing them already for one or other or both of the adjacent companies? Is there theory or consideration from the other cities to look at a single vendor amongst it that might be more cost effective in the process where we're sharing the cost and sharing the services? I know it would be nice to have something that just simply is ours, but it's a little depressing sometimes when the other cities do something and we've done nothing, or you can tell that we're the Charlie Brown of the area, if you will. So I think if we reach out to the other adjoining cities and see, there may be some way to creatively come up where it spreads the cost down for the company. It benefits because it's only adding, another 40 or 50 or 60 poles, where in the other cities they're doing 120 or something like that. So.
I'll double check with them. I know Seal Beach uses Decrolite. I think Cypress does as well. They're kind of the big name in the industry.
Right.
But I will double check with them, and I'll call Decrolite and find out. All the banners are custom made. I know, Cypress has their name and logo and website, and all of ours say Los Alamitos on ours, and same with Seal Beach. But I'll see if there's a mechanism that we can possibly partner and see if we can capitalize on that.
Yeah. I just think if they come out crew-wise and they're doing them all at the same time, it's probably more cost efficient than if they come out and do it at 3 individual times.
And that part, the putting up and taking down, is not as expensive as it is to purchase the hardware and create the banner. It's a big upfront cost for the creation of the banner and purchasing of the hardware. And then after that, again, the hardware is already up, so they don't need to take it down. Like I said, I think we paid $24,000. I think 11 or 12 of that was the purchase of 44 banners plus the hardware, and now it's $3,600 a year to put them up and take them down.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. First, I'd like to apologize to the staff again. We thought we were going to save some legal fees by flipping the order, and it really didn't work out very well. We do value you and your time, and thank you for sticking with us. The 2 years I've been on the council, I've been wanting to do this overview as part of the budget process, because I think Corey, you've been able to bring it to life. What are we paying for? More so than just rows of numbers on a budget spreadsheet. So thank you for this. Has been great. You guys are the department that make lives better in this city. So it's, you're coming from a fun point of view. You also had to go first, so the others got a chance now to, that worked, type of thing. So be a little easier for them, I think. I think we're doing a great job on the big events paying for themselves, and especially getting sponsors, because asking for money is never any fun. And you guys are doing a phenomenal job there too, with getting the sponsorships, and we're holding some great events that are paying for themselves. That's really, and actually making a profit. So I did have one question, speaking of profits. Can we expand our classes? They seem to be a moneymaker. Is there any way we can promote that, push that in the future? Seems like we have a good profit margin there.
Yeah, well, I mean, the nice part is it's always a profit margin, because again, for direct cost, because it's we always retain some sort of percentage for those classes. We have a staff that's dedicated to doing that and expanding our classes and our camps. Again, the hard part is competition. All the cities do it. We partner with a lot of them in order to continue offering them. We've had discussions with Rossmore to see if we can host some classes in their facilities. So we're trying to look at that. We put out the activities guide. We published that. We put out press releases. We continue to look for other avenues. Free or very inexpensive ways of advertising. We have our banner program that we put out at 3 locations throughout the city on the banners, and we know that does receive some clientele, people driving by. So we try and always look for different avenues to publish them. We try and work with all of our contract instructors to develop literature that we can post in different locations to try and get them to promote their classes and programs, because a lot of them, that's how they make their living. So we continually do that, and we try to one thing that we could definitely get better at is evaluating them and trying to find out how people hear about it. I'd say from discussions, 80% of it is word of mouth. We always try and look for incentives to get people to bring more clientele. So we'll continue to look in those avenues and see if there's ways that we can incentivize more word of mouth and more participation and that sort of thing. We started, I think 2 years ago, something we learned at a conference. Sending thank you notes to our best clientele. Our registration software is able to put out who spends the most amount of money, and for the holiday time, we send them a holiday card and a little note thanking them for participating with our program. So we hope that the little touches like that will continue to get them to come back and tell their friends and family that, we're a nice place to be. Darlene and Trini, most people come into our community center just to say hi to them, because they are the face of our department, and thank goodness for them and their kindness, because that's what gets people coming back year after year. So, but we'll continue to look for those types of things and see what else we can do to expand and promote.
Okay, thank you. I mean, our services, this book is tremendous. The amount of variety and the age groups that we serve, really tremendous. And anything we can do to expand that, please let us know.
Thank you. And just to know that that's all developed and created, not printed, but developed, created, published, and everything in-house. Emmeline designs the cover and the front inside cover, and Mackenzie plans out and does all of the classes and programs in the guts of it. So we took that in as a cost-saving measure just this past year, and it's working out very well.
Well, great, thank you, and thank you for doing this. Any other comments? Brett? Comment? Okay.
I just I want to thank the council for giving us the opportunity to present this, and I think
We'd
it's
like thank you notes like Corey sends in.
that would be in order. And I think this gives us a great forum. I mean, depending on, it's positive, it sounds like very positive feedback. I want to let Corey and the staff know how much I appreciate all the work that you guys do, just outstanding work. In my experience, the revenue that's generated is very, very rare in terms of the work that they do and the fundraising that they do. So we should just be very thankful that we have the great staff that we do. So thank you, council, for the opportunity.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
thank you. Then, nothing further, we will adjourn until March 23rd, correct?
Closed session, right. March 20th.
March 20th at 3 o'clock.
March 20th at 3 o'clock for a closed session.
You good, Troy?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good meeting.